Hello and welcome back. Today we're playing the Mage, and this character has very sort of straightforward traits. The elemental damage modifiers are increased by 25%. You start with a snake, a scared sausage, we will look at those in a second, and your melee and range damage are both reduced by 100%. This is the modifications are reduced. So even if you do take SMG, for example, you would get the base 3 damage, however, you cannot change this. Okay? And then engineering modifications are reduced by 50%. And this just encourages you to take an item with elemental scaling damage or an elemental effect, right? Elemental damage or the lightning shiv, right? Elemental effect here, and so on. Okay, but for us, today we are going to be playing with the taser. They did recently add in this new weapon, the icicle. However, I think that the taser is sort of just tried and true, you can say that way. It has pretty good scaling. As you rank it up, tier 2, 3, 4, you get an additional projectile. So instead of just shooting one late sort of lightning, it ends up shooting two and then three and then four. And on top of that, it has a pretty good attack speed. The range is quite short, but the crit chance is pretty average, 2 times multiplier, slight crit chance, and then it actually, this is the nice part here, has support in its weapon class. And support weapon class gives you harvesting. Okay, and before we even start, actually, I'm going to show you guys the scared sausage and the snake. The snake makes your burns spread to additional enemy nearby. The scared sausage attacks have a 25% chance to deal 3 times 100% of your elemental damage to burn the enemy. Okay, and this is, they come together, that's part of your character trait. And of course, wave 1, nothing special. As always, you just move around, try to kill as many enemies as possible. I will say that with the taser, you are not going to kill the entire sort of group of enemies. It is actually impossible. Don't worry about it. You will be fine. Just pick up what you can. You should always have about 47, 48, 46 materials here. And then we just reroll a little bit for some more harvesting. Okay, because when we get these tasers here, you can see our harvesting increased, right? We get the support weapon class. And this is what this perk is really nice for. You can get up to 25 harvesting for free if you just roll and purchase some more tasers. Okay? Also, avoid taking anything like this, -1 elemental damage. This is not good for you since modifications are increased by 25%. If you reduce your elemental damage by 1, it makes it 1.25 reduce, a reduction. So this is not good. Okay? And we could take the mutation, of course. Knockback is not a big deal. This item is completely fine. I don't think it's the best item, but we can just take it here. I would say it's just average at best. I don't value knockback very highly. They did make some changes to knockback because they introduced some new weapons or some new items that are affected by knockback, but I don't think they're really pivotal to winning any run, at least not in any character I've played so far. There are certain characters that do enjoy knockback, but most of them you don't need it. We'll be taking more harvesting. Oh, scared sausage. This is really nice, okay? You will always want to take these if you find these in the early game. And then, of course, another taser. And that's it. It's very expensive, of course. However, now you can see we actually have 2 scared sausages. We're very happy with that. Increase the scaling. We can get up to 4 of them. And yeah, your damage is quite low. If you notice, we are not one-shotting the enemies here. We're actually having to shoot them multiple times. It is completely normal, especially if you take harvesting like I'm doing. You will not have enough damage to clear the enemies immediately. That is what your scared sausage and the burn effect is for. It helps you clear out enemies. So just clear what you can, and then continue to move on. Okay, and here we don't want any of these. We don't want this. More harvesting. Don't want any of these. Attack speed is good in this case. And then a taser, plus boiling water, we want to lock that. And by the mutation, reroll 1 time, lock the taser. Okay, we're not going to reroll. We would only have two slots here to look at anyways. And we really already want to buy these, which are quite expensive. It's going to be 64 materials next round. But yeah, as you can see here, we have 5 tasers. Our harvesting is at 41 on wave 3. That is really high. And then we also have 6 elemental damage from the passive, plus from the mutation. Okay, so our damage is going to scale very quickly. We're not too worried about it. And I will say, if you find a sharp bullet for piercing in the early game, you can definitely take that. Sharp bullet is quite nice on this character, on the mage. Something about your weapon is that, I think I already mentioned this, but the taser, as you upgrade it, it gets multiple projectiles to fire. You'll see later, they're going to be shooting a lot of lightning out of the taser. It's not just going to be one bolt. Okay, very nice. We want some damage here. Nope. You could take luck, but I'm actually going to go again. Still no. Okay, elemental damage. I would have been happy to take harvesting as well. And I am happy to take this tier 2 upgrade. It's just higher value, right? Taser, boiling water, and we are going to want the eye surgery. This item got a massive buff, by the way. I already mentioned this in a different video. However, this used to be only 10% faster, and it also did not have this elemental damage before. So they basically buffed it more than 2 times. And I'm also going to reroll a little bit more. One more time. Okay, we got another scared sausage. We're very happy with that. Now we have 3 out of 4. If we get a 4th one, it will make this very, very strong. Okay, it's going to apply super consistently, make the run a lot easier for us. It isn't super necessary, but it is definitely something you should take if you find it in your early shops. And it's a lot easier to stack these sort of tier 1 items up than it used to be. Again, this is just thanks to the update, which they did, in which they made rerolls a lot cheaper. And since rerolls are so much cheaper, it means that finding tier 1 items in the early game is much easier. And then they also buffed a lot of these items and changed them, increased their percentages, so you don't need to have as many of them to sort of reach the cap. And you can see how much our materials just jumped up by 50 a second ago. Ugly Tooth is quite nice. Our weapon already slows, so this increases that effect. These are not that great, since it's wave 5. I'd say from wave 5 and forward, taking a tier 1 upgrade is not that impressive. Harvesting is great though, we'll take more harvesting. This is really cool, actually. Honestly, I would love to take this. I believe this is a completely new weapon. Or it's not that I believe, this is a completely new weapon. It is pretty interesting. I'm not going to take it in this run in particular, but I think, for example, if you found this in a shop like here, like I did, you could definitely just take this. Though you should remember, you are going to lose 5 harvesting for each taser that you get rid of. Go to reroll. Toxic Sludge is amazing. This is one of our favorite items on this character. And we found another taser. And then I'm also going to save for the pumpkin. You'll be wondering, why are you getting a pumpkin when you don't even have piercing? Well, if I do find piercing, I'll be happy that I took it. If I don't find piercing, I'm not going to miss 2% damage. Completely fine. And then you can see our tier 2 tasers are actually doing less damage because your damage scaling reduces as you upgrade the taser. However, you get an additional bolt to upgrade. So at tier 2 we're shooting out 2 bolts. And then at tier 3 will be 3 and then 4 at tier 4. Also remember the fly, this enemy here floating and moving towards us, or sort of just moving in a straight direction, straight lines like this. This enemy shoots out projectiles if you hit it with a projectile. So you can actually trigger it on the mage, since you have tasers. This counts as a ranged weapon. Okay. Attack speed is quite nice. More harvesting is quite nice. Some crit chance would be okay, however, I don't think crit chance is that great on this character that we're playing. Range is pretty nice, and Toxic Sludge is incredible. Take the pumpkin and continue looking. More Toxic Sludge, another mutation, and we're actually going to take this. The Lumberjack shirt is not great. Oh, there's the last scared sausage we need. That's going to be 4 out of 4. Perfect. Yeah, the lumberjack shirt is not really a good item in my opinion. It's very niche and I would say only necessary on some characters, but 99% of characters do not need or even want the lumberjack shirt. It doesn't really do anything. You can easily shoot trees and break them on your own. You don't need to invest any materials into buying it. However, the only reason I say it's okay to buy is because it is a unique item. So once you get one of it, you can no longer find it in your shops. And I believe there are, I'm not sure how many unique tier 1 items there are, but there is the sharp bullet, which increases your piercing, and then the lumberjack shirt, plus the, what was the other one? The ugly tooth. Is it called ugly tooth? I kind of forget its name sometimes. Okay, easy enough. I could go with attack speed here. These are all quite nice, to be honest. There's no reason to, to move to reroll. I could get something else like harvesting or elemental damage. I'm actually just going to take armor. I think armor is pretty nice and safe. Another taser, and we maxed out our scarce hostages. We're very happy with that. Oh, you guys know how I feel about the dangerous bunny. I love this. And then plus 1 elemental damage every time you get an item that increases elemental damage. This is insane. This is also a new item, and it's only tier 2, so it's actually quite easy to find. So I would say if you find this, you should absolutely be buying it. No questions asked. This weapon is absolutely ridiculous on the mage. I don't even think, I don't know, maybe just because I've beaten the game on every character prior to the update, but I find it interesting that they buffed so many things. It feels like the game is a lot easier than it used to be, just before the update. And I don't know, I didn't necessarily feel like characters needed any buffs. Maybe some of them. Some of the characters were definitely much weaker than others. Um, but it does just feel like they buffed the player in a sense. So like, no matter who you are, the game you should be winning more often. You know, after the massive updates they've done. And if you're watching this, I think it should be quite easy. Because the strategies I sort of employ when I'm playing these different characters are already very strong. And like I said, they buffed sort of the player rather than individual characters. Okay, Propeller Hat, we're super happy to take this. We have 0 luck. We do want to get some of that. And just as I say that, I find some luck. And a tier 3 max HP upgrade. We're very happy to take that. Get a little bit tankier. Buy the taser, buy the charcoal, and we will actually be buying the wheelbarrow and the bag. I said earlier, but the bag, I have a nice opinion of the bag. It is a bit of a strange item though, since it does take away your speed, but I don't think you need that much speed. Though being in the negative is not not optimal, so we definitely want to find some more if possible. Um, yeah, maybe just 1 speed upgrade would make us happy. However, I will say on the mage in specific, or like in particular, you don't really need speed because your weapons actually apply a slow effect on enemies. But just generally speaking, you're quite safe even if you don't have a ton of speed. But that doesn't mean you want to have negative speed on your character, regardless. Being able to move quickly or just, a bit faster than the base speed is quite nice. I always say this, but I think about 20% speed on a lot of characters, if unless otherwise incentivized, 20% speed is pretty much all you need and all you want. I don't think you should really ever go for more than that. Though it does depend on the character you're playing. We're going to play some characters which really rely super heavily on speed, but those are sort of specific characters rather than, overall every character. So there are exceptions to that rule. And then here, crit chance and dodge is unnecessary. We are not taking negative elemental damage. Damage percent we will take on the other hand. And we found the sharp bullet and the bandana in the same shop. Okay, if you find even just one of these, I think you're completely fine. You just go ahead and take it. In this case, the sharp bullet loses you piercing damage, right? Our piercing damage as of right now is actually quite good. We pierce for 65% damage rate. This is the reduction. This is definitely, I'd say, worse than the bandana in this case. However, either one is super good and you should be happy to take it. And I'm also going to take a metal plate, I think damage percent, we can replace, and another bag, super nice. Going to keep re-rolling, wheelbarrow, and propeller hat, and we're done. We will actually lock the head injury and get some damage percent back, plus we're also going to take the injection to get that. And we're going to roll to 0 actually. Okay, we didn't find anything, completely fine. But yeah, as you can see now, you can see we pretty much are not prioritizing crit chance, you know, any of these other stats that we generally do. Just max HP. We do want speed, of course, but we took a lot of harvesting luck, took some armor range, attack speed, and health. And then, of course, elemental damage is priority. If you ever find elemental damage, you should be taking it. You can see our damage is sort of starting to scale now. We're doing about 22 per hit, and then about 40 per crit, because we have 2 times crit damage scaling. It is, you might feel a bit weaker on this character than others, because you're not seeing, you know, 50, 60, 70 damage, or like ridiculously high DPS. But the thing is, you don't actually need that. I promise you'll be completely fine without it. As you can see, we're not struggling to clear out the monsters that are spawning, even though we don't have ridiculously high damage numbers. Okay. Chest 3, more armor, we're happy to take this. And some luck. These are all nice. Speed is nice, but like I said, we don't need it immediately. It's just nice to have, but we do not need it right now. The bat I'm actually going to take because we have so much harvesting. We're not super worried about losing a tiny bit like this. Toxic sludge, taser, and continue. Elemental damage, continue. And another snake is beautiful. We love that. We will not be taking the tentacle, of course. We have 0% crit. We also don't want to go for it. It's a bit too much of a investment. Mushroom, on the other hand, we can actually take. We have quite a lot of luck. And getting a bit tankier is always nice. And this is where you should, I'd say, beat, or this is where you'll know if you have enough damage or not, because you should absolutely be clearing out these pursuers, these right here, right? These really tanky enemies, you should be clearing them out pretty easily. They are very tanky, but you need to be able to clear them out. By the time you get to wave 11, if you don't have the damage, then you probably skipped a little bit too much elemental damage or didn't prioritize it enough in your early waves, in your early shops. So just make sure you're always taking those damage upgrades early game. If you see elemental damage again, you should be taking it. This character is a lot like the Ranger, right? He plays very similarly, but he's actually, I'd say, obviously not quite as strong, and I'll explain why. Snail, we love the snail. We always talk about the snail on this channel. Gentle alien I will take, and snake, of course, I will take. Oh, okay, we got the second eye surgery. So this super buffed item is now ours, and the game is pretty much over. And then we will take a plant, more HP scaling. Mutation, also nice. Reroll one more time. We get a charcoal, and we can't afford this, unfortunately, so we will lock it. But yeah, the tasers, they scale with elemental damage, and you get a 25% modifier. And you might be thinking, isn't that just weaker than the Ranger? Yes, technically it is, because the Ranger gets 50% modifier. And the thing about range damage and elemental damage is they both upgrade at similar rates. So a lot of the upgrades, right, you get a range damage upgrade, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Elemental damage is the same. Tier 1, 2, 3, and 4 are also, you know, plus 1, 2, 3, and 4. So basically you get a 25% modifier for the Mage, and you only get a 50%, or you get a 50% modifier on the Ranger. So I would say the Ranger has a lot better single target damage, which pretty much just translates into you kill everything faster. But the nice thing about the Mage is that you don't lose the max HP, or it's a lot easier to get max HP. And I would say that you have, you know, all the damage you need to win the run. The ranger, if anything, has way more damage than it needs to win the run. So you don't need to worry too much about not having a massive multiplier on your elemental damage. Just keep taking those upgrades and you'll be completely fine. And then here in this case, you might be thinking, I probably want HP regeneration or max HP, but I'm actually going to go for range. And that's because we are already really tanky. 6 armor, like I said, I always say this, around 6 armor on just a normal champ or normal character is pretty much all you need. 30% damage reduction is perfectly fine. And if you get near 50 max HP and anything above 10 HP regen, I'd say like 20 HP regen is already ridiculous. If you get 50 max HP, like let's say 15 HP regen and 6 armor, you'll be super safe. And of course, you should be taking, all of the elemental damage you find. Oh, extra stomach. I love this item. Okay, I don't think this will affect our chances to win the run, I'm going to be honest, but I'm going to take it. And that's the reason I'm taking it. Even if you don't find something like this, you will, you'll be completely fine. But I love this item. If you pick up a consumable at max HP, you get +1 max health permanently. And this is every wave. And so you can get +8 max HP per wave if you pick up consumables at max health. This used to be +10. They did nerf it a bit because it was definitely too strong. I think they were targeting the endless player base, but I'm not too sure, to be honest. Campfire is amazing. That's 2 stats that we want. We're going to take that. And then 10 harvesting, the little frog. It's a little bit late for this. If we had seen this earlier and we had the funds to buy it, maybe. But it is pretty late to be taking an item just for 10 harvesting. So yeah, you can see our max health is 41 right now. It's going to increase to 42 when we eat that at max health. So if you can avoid getting hit, then you get all the consumables, you gain max health permanently. It's really nice. I'm a big fan of things that stack infinitely or like sort of stack permanently. I really like those type of items. They're just like satisfying, right? Like if there was some, sort of like the, actually I don't want to spoil it if people don't know about this, but so maybe I'll mention it later. But there is a weapon that gives you stacking permanent stats, and we will be seeing that in a different run when we're playing a different character. And by the way, the extra stomach, if you just leave the consumables on the ground, when you reach the end of the wave, they will all fly to you and you will still get the permanent stats, okay? So you don't actually have to go around picking them up. You just play the wave normally and avoid taking damage. And at the end of the wave, they will all fly to you. And we're going to skip this, we don't need crit chance. Go ahead and take this. Again, we don't need crit chance or dodge. It is wave 13, you want to be looking for tier 3 upgrades like this. Triceps is completely fine. Acid, also very nice. Look how much health we have, 58 max health. Extremely high. And this is actually a new item. Huh. It's quite interesting. I think it's actually not bad at all, the ball and chain. So it gives you an attack speed cap. So that would just mean I'm not taking any more attack speed this run, because we're at 0.78. Basically, we're at that cap. So this actually would not give us a negative effect yet, aside from -3 speed. Kind of interesting. However, I think the knockback is worthless, and the armor is also pretty much worthless. So we're going to skip that for now. Wheelbarrow. So I just said about the little frog. I'm not sure we want to take this. The pickup range is not really important. However, the wheelbarrow, on the other hand, is quite good. Another acid, another Cyclops worm, more damage, taser, and one more reroll. And another bag. And then a taser again. Plus energy. We'll take that too. So you can see here, all our stats. Everything's looking good. We don't need crit chance, engineering, range, melee, lifesteal. We don't need any of these stats. I think completely fine. Also, if you get a lot of lifesteal, you can also just sort of go for lifesteal instead of HP regen. I think having low amounts of either is worse than having a lot of one of them. So if you have 20 HP regen or 20 lifesteal, and then 0 of the other stat, then that's perfectly fine. Both of those work. But yeah, you can see here, yeah, just a lot of elemental attack speed, damage percent, and then some tankiness. Yeah, that's all you need. And I would like to get some speed, of course. We're sitting at -11 speed. We're not really punished by that, since we do slow enemies. As you can see, the boss's charge is super short distance, and that is thanks to our slow. We're just permanently slowing the boss. You can't really do much about it. Of course, this is a pretty slow kill for us, right? 19 seconds to kill. But it doesn't matter because we're completely safe, right? We're super tanky. If we were the ranger, we'd probably be half as tanky as we are on the mage right now, because we wouldn't have nearly as much max HP. And then we also probably wouldn't have that much armor. But the mage has a special thing about them, which is the burn effect. So even if you don't actually hit enemies, the fire, if you have enough snakes and sausages, will sort of spread around and kill all the little enemies. And you also have really, really good area of effect damage since you shoot out multiple bolts from all your weapons. It's super easy to clear out these little enemies. Regen potion. We will just take this. It's basically just 3 HP regen. We're never going to be below below half health. We'd have to be 37 health here, right? That's just unlikely. And we'll go ahead and take some speed here, finally. And buy the taser. Some more speed. Super welcome. Very happy to have that. Pandas. Very cute and all. You know what? We'll take it. This round we're just buying all the legendaries. Why not? And skip here. Or max HP. Definitely a bit overkill. Oh, this is interesting. 8 elemental damage crit chance. Weapon damage additionally scales with 10% elemental damage. Interesting. But the burning effect is so much slower. I don't think it's really good, to be honest. We have maxed out sausages, and you can see our sausage damage. I'm sorry if this if this is a spoiler for you guys. Yeah, 55,000 damage from a tier 1 item. Um, Hopefully you understand how much that is and I don't have to explain. But if you think about it, we're doing 50 damage per hit with our weapon. Our tier 1 item that cost us less than, 100 and something materials has done 55,000 damage. So, yeah, let that sink in a little bit. And again, once you get to this point in the run, I'd say you should be pretty much able to just sit there casually and not really have to focus or like do anything special to win. Especially these waves where there's no mini boss or anything, you're just clearing out little monsters. Right, so none of these are a real threat to us. If you are struggling here, you may have lack of damage, which just means you might want to be prioritizing elemental damage more early. Something else you can do with the wave is just make sure you're clearing out all the enemies that shoot projectiles. That way you don't sort of run into projectiles too much accidentally or somehow, end up dying because of it. Here we'll actually take more luck. Why not? And then taser, injection, another bandana. Sure, why not? Let's just have 2 bandanas. So we have double piercing now. As you can see, double piercing. Our weapons are going to be looking a little bit ridiculous. And snake. If you find a snake or sausage, you should always be buying them. Okay, guys? Snake and sausage, super insane on this character. As you can see, our sausage damage went up by 12,000. So our sausage just did 12,000 damage in that last wave. Also, we're definitely taking more more movement speed. Even though we don't necessarily need it, it's just that we don't need any other stats at this point. So you just want to get it's basically like once you get to a certain point, whichever stat you're missing the most of, you can just go ahead and take that, right? So in this case, we just, take more speed. We didn't find any elemental damage, might as well take the speed. And you don't really need range, I'd say. You can just play this character like a semi-melee champ, in a sense. Though some range would be quite nice here. If we had higher range, we could use our piercing more effectively. And that would be pretty good. But it isn't necessary again. You don't need it. In this wave, you can make sure, if you are struggling, you can focus these, the buffers. The little enemies that look like they have sort of all these little bumps on them. They just run away from you. They're very slow. So if you go towards them, you should easily be able to kill them. And easy peasy. This doesn't do anything for us. We can't even get this melee damage. And this is reduced by 50%. So we'd basically just be losing max health. We do not need this. We're very tanky. More harvesting at this point in the run. Probably not the best choice. I kind of want a tier 3 upgrade. Yeah, lungs. Let's just take that. Completely fine. Laser injection going. Some luck, and these do not affect us. Melee and range damage do not mean anything. Even if even if they didn't actually drop the stats, or even if they actually dropped the stats by 2 melee damage and 1 range damage, we would still take this because we don't care about these stats. We only care about elemental damage. More luck. You know what? Why not? Let's just have fun. Let's just get to like 200 luck for no reason. And then go ahead and buy the Scar and another Taser upgrade. And you can see here, our Taser has 50 times 4 damage. That's because it shoots out 4 bolts in a little sort of V shape. And then it has 2 piercing as well, right? So, and then it also applies the sausage burn. Here, our sausage did how much damage? Last wave? It did 24,000 damage. Okay, so we were just at 86,000. Let's see how much more damage we do this wave. It might actually be less, because as you can see, we're against tankier enemies. And the burn effect, obviously the stat is going to look a lot higher when there are more enemies. So a ton of small enemies make it look like we're dealing a lot more damage. Not that we're not dealing a lot of damage, just definitely makes the stats a lot higher when there are a lot of enemies to burn. You can see here, even the taser, right? It's technically a sort of support item. And it has a sort of supportive effect where it slows down enemies. But it can be used very aggressively. And once you get that harvesting bonus, it makes the game a lot easier. Because you can stack up harvesting very quickly. And that sort of spirals out of control. Because you're getting a lot more materials and XP and levels and upgrades, items, right? You're getting a lot more of these things than you should be getting. You sort of scale very quickly. More speed, we'll go ahead and take that. We do not need crit chance, so obviously we're going to take this. Speed, armor, damage, and max health. These are tier 2 upgrades, we should be getting something better. Some range. Okay, sure, why not? Let's take range. Fuel tank, we love this item. On the mage, we always take this. Injection. Take a taser. Piggy bank. It's a little bit late to be taking a piggy bank here, probably. Wave 17 is quite late. Oh, this is interesting. This is a new item. I think this is completely unnecessary. We're not taking any damage ever. Like I said, we took the extra stomach. However, we haven't really gotten any benefit from it because we just don't even take damage. So this is also not going to do anything. But you could take it, right? It just makes your run safer. And you can see here, even if we just hit the boss, we end up killing everything. And we can actually purposefully take damage. Like if I just stand still here, I'm still not really scared. Just like stand still near the boss. Look, I'm not getting hit at all. Even when I do get hit. Look, I'm back to full health. I pick up the loot crate. So you should not be scared, right? When you get these high value stats and you keep picking up the correct things throughout your run, you end up being virtually invincible at the end of the run. Not even at the end, right? We're only at wave 18. We've been strong enough to do almost nothing for the past, I don't know, 6 waves or so probably. So basically by the time you get to past wave 12, I feel like, the run is kind of over at that point. At least that's the feeling I've gotten since I've gotten more experience playing Brotato. All my runs feel like they end way before the actual end of the run. Okay, we do not need any engineering items, of course. We'll take some range, why not? And max HP and max health, sure, why not? We're sort of just going for like record stats here, no? Almost 200 harvesting and luck, 120 max HP nearly, right? We're getting ridiculous amounts of tanky stats and scaling stats here. Taser, of course, we're taking more medals. It's always welcome. We do not need crit chance. However, we also don't need engineering, of course. This, obviously, we take. We do lose a lot of enemies, which is sad, but I do like that extra damage. If it was earlier in the run, I'd probably skip this, to be honest. I don't like losing enemies, because that also means you lose out on things that you can get materials from. And it's quite late for this. I will sell this, though, and buy another taser. And actually, we probably don't have that much money, so let's just go ahead and skip here. And I didn't check the scared sausage damage, because I just wanted to look at it at the very end of the run. We can see the total amount that the scared sausage did. And I said this, or sorry, I mentioned this earlier, but they did buff re-rolling, right? They made re-rolls much cheaper, which means finding those tier 1 items, like the snake and the scared sausage, is significantly easier. They're so much easier to find, guys. So if you re-roll in those early shops a lot like I show you, you will be able to find them most of the time. And if you saw, you could say I got a little lucky, right? I found those scared sausages very early on. But even if I only had 2 or 3 sausages, I would still be having a very easy time right now. There would be no struggle. And the wave is gone. And nothing happened. We're completely full health, super safe. Tier 2 upgrade at this point, with this much luck, is not something you want to go for. Some range? Sure, why not? Let's just take range. It's completely fine. Tasers. Damage percent. No, I don't want that. Oh, taser. Okay, let's go and buy another taser. Can we get the last taser we need? See if we can find it. Wow, that's actually... So the baby elephant scales off luck. And since we have 155 luck and so much damage percent, it's actually doing 62 damage, even though it's a tier 1 item. Then here, we get another tier 3 laser. And I don't think we can actually afford to make this tier 4. I would have liked to have them all maxed out. Unfortunate. Couldn't do that. Run is over. Get the snake. And roll. Oh, there's the tier 4 laser we would have liked. We could have made it look really pretty with all tier 4 weapons. Let's just go ahead and end the run. I'm gonna let the boss hit me in a second so you can see how I take no damage. How many times did I get hit there? Was it 3 times? 4 times? And you can see the bosses have such little move speed because of the taser effect, plus the snail and the ugly tooth. Everything is just slowing them down. They can barely move. Watch, this boss is the invoker here. He's gonna try to run away. Look at how slow he is trying to run away. It's just the bosses can't escape you. So you end up becoming the boss at the end, right? See, I was pretty much invincible. 0 chance of me dying. Okay? And that's the run. So now we can look at the stats. Scared sausage damage dealt. Okay. 186,244. And how much did our weapon do this wave? Nearly 19,000. 14, 8,000, 11,000. So the average here was how much? Let's see. 19. Wait 1 second. 1933 plus 8, 41 plus 11, 52 plus, let's say, 13. That's 65,000 damage off of these, and then another 10, 75,000 damage. So on average, our weapons did about, right, 75,000 divided by 6. How much would that be? Math is hard. But about 12,000, 13,000 damage. 12,500 damage per weapon was the average on the last final wave here. But our Scared Sausage tier 1 item nearly did 200,000 damage total. That is ridiculous. And then, yeah, of course, what else do we have? The Dangerous Bunny saved us 131 materials. The Snowball gave us 11 extra elemental damage. The bags, we had 3 bags that gave us 675 materials gained. That is amazing, amazing. Extra stomach plus 52 max health. What else do we have here? That is all. Yeah. Oh, and then the baby elephant, 780 damage. Okay. So that was the mage. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed. And next time, we will be playing with the Chunky. Okay, we're going to be looking at Chunky next video. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any comments, you have any questions, please leave it below. And if you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Okay, thank you and see you. Bye bye.